One Piece Chapter 1085 spoilers are here, and they are absolutely insane. These are the early spoilers, but there is a lot of information to share with you guys today. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into this. My name is Richard. This is my wife, Claire.
Hello.
Welcome to One Piece of a Dream, and prepare for what might be the best chapter of the year. Let's get into this. The chapter is titled The Not Aliving of Nefertari Cobra, and it starts with us learning that Queen Lily's real name is Nefertari D. Lily. So that means that Luffy is actually related to Vivi somehow.
Vivi's a D.
Yeah, they're all D clan members. That means Vivi's middle name is D, Cobra's middle name is D, literally Law and all of the other D members, even Blackbeard, they're all related to Luffy somehow.
It's really weird when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. But honestly, it's going to probably be some sort of distant family thing. I'm starting to wonder if it's some sort of like Hyuga family branch family thing. How they have in Naruto where they have like a main family and it separates off into branch families. But, you know, maybe they added a last name like Monkey at the end of it. Even though like D is their true family like name. And that like traces back to the actual main family. It could be something like that. But regardless, if you guys have shipped Luffy and Vivi, depending on how closely related they are, there is a chance you may have done some not so, nice things there. But maybe you're into that, I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and actually move on. So, we see Imu attack Cobra and Sabo with a shadow arrow. So now we get into this being likely a devil fruit ability from what's been implied by the leakers. So apparently Imu does have a devil fruit, and if it's actually a shadow fruit, people have speculated a shadow logia, then that's kind of crazy because the shadow fruit already exists. We already have a Kage no Mi. Gecko Moria owns that fruit already. What are you gonna call it?
Can't be the darkness fruit either.
Yeah, the Yami no Mi is already taken, or dark fruit, that's taken. Blackbeard has it. What are you gonna call this fruit? You clearly can't call it either of those things, so Oda, you're gonna have to come up with a new name for this fruit that makes sense, or this is going to have to be some other power. Maybe it's actually a silhouetted arrow and not a shadow arrow. Maybe this arrow is like hiding Imu's true devil fruit capabilities, and that this arrow is truly like an ocean arrow or something. Maybe this arrow is like, water that Imu can shape into an arrow and then fire it at somebody. That could also make sense, but
that'd be kind of cool.
It would be if Imu actually does still have the ocean fruit or the Umi no Mi, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm pretty sure that from what we're understanding here, this is going to be some shadow related power. I mean, it would make sense because Imu always looks so shadowy, so it would actually explain why Imu's always been a shadowy silhouette. However, things are about to get really crazy really fast as we move on. So, as I said, we see Imu attack Cobra and Sabo. Obviously, Cobra doesn't make it through this, but Sabo does. Imu discovers that Wapol has been spying on them, but Wapol runs away. Now, in this part of the story, I really like to imagine that Wapol runs away, Imu chases after Wapol a bit, and Wapol hides behind a pillar and turns into his trash can form for a minute, and Imu just comes up like, it's just a trash can. Alright, turns around and leaves, and then Wapol, like, because his powers have gotten so good, like, Imu could potentially walk up and be like, I have some trash in my pocket, maybe I should just toss that in there. And Imu, like, doesn't even see Wapol's face in the trash can anymore because Wapol's powers have gotten so good that he can actually turn into an actual trash can.
I feel like Imu wouldn't fall for a trick like that.
I don't know. It would just be funny, and it sounds like One Piece humor, so, I mean, I could see it being a thing. Moving on, though. Vivi is actually captured by Cypher Pole Zero. So, as Vivi was arguing with Rob Lucci in the last chapter that Rob Lucci would not be protecting her, she was right. Obviously,
she wants Garp.
Yeah, she wanted Garp, and obviously she was correct. Rob Lucci didn't protect Shirahoshi, and obviously Rob Lucci's not actually going to protect Vivi. In fact, it seems like the opposite. It seems like Rob Lucci has now been ordered to do away with Vivi, and Vivi actually needs to get away from Cypher Pole Zero so she can continue to not be done away with. So, Wapol actually appears and finds that Vivi is with Cypher Pole Zero. And I'm assuming that since Wapol finds her, Wapol helps rescue her because Wapol has overheard some stuff and realizes this is like bigger than he could ever hope to be. And then a dying Nefertari Cobra asks Sabo to tell both Luffy and Vivi that we're all from the D family, which is what I was saying earlier about they're all actually related. It's like actually a family. Maybe they're actually closer than they realize, and those other names are like just like disguised names, and that's why the D is abbreviated. Maybe since D's are the enemy of the world government or the enemies of God or something like that, maybe that means that the D clan has been trying to hide themselves and they are actually all closely related than we think, and that Monkey and stuff like that isn't actually like a real last last name. Maybe it's like been switched up to where like that's like a common middle name or something, or just a connection to the other name. I don't know. There's a lot of theories you could come up with here, but there's something I want to talk about, but I'm gonna save it till the end here for you guys because I think it's really important that we discuss this. But the name Emu actually reminds Cobra of one of the last names of the 20 kings, and so Emu might actually be one of those 20 founding kings. And this is where things get a little bit crazy because this part here makes me wonder, what is Emu's relation to Vivi then? Or Emu's relation to Lily, I should say, because Emu obviously got very riled up when Emu heard the name Lily. So that makes me wonder if Emu's immortal, right? Let's just go out on a limb and say Emu is Void Century property and that Emu is immortal and is actually over 800 years old. Let's say that Emu overheard all this on the Dendemushi and then decided to come out and actually sit down on the throne, which he obviously did. I'm going to say he, because if he is a king, that'll make him a man, which I'm not sure yet because he does seem rather girly, so it could still be a woman. Let's not go and just confirm things we don't know yet. But ultimately, Emu comes, if Emu is a man, right? And Emu is a king, and Emu does have these powers, and Emu is immortal, and say the Gorosei are also immortal. Let's just say if Emu is immortal, that Emu hears this and had some sort of love interest, right, with Queen Lily. That would make it make more sense, because Emu would be acting irrationally out of love. So if Emu had some weird breakup thing go on with Lily, Lily got offed or something, or they had some weird plan where, say that they were supposed to be married and then didn't get married and they're supposed to combine kingdoms or something like that, or maybe they were like fiancés or married or something. Maybe Emu was actually like the king of Alabasta or something at one point and then disappeared, and then Queen Lily showed up to the thing, and then maybe Emu like took over as like the ruler of the world. It's kind of hard to say, but let's just say that possibly Emu
kind of connection.
Yes,
basically.
has some kind of romantic connection to Lily. And if they do have some kind of romantic connection to Lily, it would explain why Emu would irrationally get up and expose himself or herself to the entirety of the One Piece world by thinking that, obviously the revolutionaries are clearly attacking Mary Joie. So why would you think it's safe to go there, even if the Gorosei and King Cobra are the only ones in that room? Clearly, there's other people running around. The guards are being summoned and going all over the place searching for these revolutionaries that are trying to rescue Kuma and all this stuff. So why on earth would you think it's a good idea to get up and hang out in this room expecting that nobody else will see you? Obviously, that's not the case. It's not safe. You shouldn't have done that. Clearly, Sabo, he obviously saw this. He's about to expose everything. You just stirred up a freaking shitstorm, Emu. You did the worst possible thing you could have done for your organization, the world government, and you're ruling behind the walls of the world government where nobody knows you exist. That was a terrible idea, and the reason that's a terrible idea is because now the entire world knows about it, and a tsunami is about to come crashing down on Mary Joie, because you just told everybody that you exist and you're sitting on the throne that nobody is supposed to be sitting on. That's not cool. At least not for you, Emu. So,
It's cool for everybody else, though.
it is cool for everybody else, but not for Emu. So ultimately, Emu just did the worst thing possible and did this so irrationally that even the Gorosei were shocked that Emu came out to do this. So this was just an irrational maneuver based out of feelings alone, and I'm sure the Gorosei know this, but ultimately the thing that Emu just did was basically out himself or herself to the world and ruin their position. Either they are so full of themselves and think that they are so powerful that they can stop the entire revolt from the entire One Piece world with what military strength they have when they barely could handle Whitebeard. But obviously the 7 warlords and the admirals and everybody else, they struggle pretty hard at Marineford, and yeah, their forces have gotten stronger since then, but kind of doesn't make any sense that they would think that they would actually have the military capability to take on the entirety of the One Piece world, say the emperors and everything else were to turn on them. Then we have a really, really bad situation on our hands that even Emu wouldn't be able to handle unless Emu is like some extremely overpowered entity. Now, moving on, it looks like the Gorosei have devil fruit powers, and after Sabo attacks the Gorosei, a huge shadow appears behind them, and each of them have a different shape. So, the Gorosei are confirmed devil fruit users, they are not pushovers. Obviously, Sabo did not defeat them, and obviously they didn't defeat Sabo. Sabo must have escaped, but at the same time, they must have some sort of serious, powerful abilities, because if Sabo, which I'm guessing he probably did, just retreat, I mean, if they thought they could handle the Revolutionary Army second commander, then that's probably nothing to them. I'm sure that they are actually a lot more powerful than we're giving them credit for.
How many people were saying that they weren't powerful?
A lot of people. A lot of people were saying that Emu couldn't fight, the Gorosei couldn't fight. Why would you
Because they're old was the excuse. Because they're old.
It makes no sense.
That's such a silly argument.
Yeah, it is a silly argument, because why would you just assume that just because they're old or that Emu doesn't show themselves and do their own work, why would you assume that they can't fight? I mean, quite literally, one of the Gorosei carry around a sword. They all have scars. They've clearly been in battles. Assuming that they can't fight just because they're old is ridiculous, especially when they have planetary-based last names like the ancient weapons. That's basically the way that the world government's probably saying that these guys are on the level of an ancient weapon. I think that we're going to see that pretty soon. I'm pretty sure that the Gorosei...
I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, because I've been saying this, but I think St. J. Garcia Saturn is going to end up combating Luffy at Egghead Island. I think that we are going to see this fight take place, and I think Kizaru is going to go up against Zoro and Sanji, and maybe even the rest of the Straw Hat crew. It's hard to say what he's going to do, but ultimately I think the Gorosei is going to be the bigger threat of the two. I think we're going to see this man has a ridiculously overpowered Devil Fruit, and I think this is going to be Luffy's way of seeing, just like at Sabaody, since there's a lot of parallels to it, that he has a new level of strength, even beyond Emperor, that he needs to obtain before he can become the Pirate King. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that Luffy is going to have to do after this before he finds the One Piece, and I think ultimately now, after everything we've seen in the story, that the One Piece would make a lot more sense if it was some kind of ancient weapon in itself that could combine, maybe not just an ancient weapon, like something that details the history as well of the world in the Void Century, but an ancient weapon that could combine the three ancient weapons outside of the One Piece that, you know, obviously people have trouble finding those, but combine those three together and then take those ancient weapons, and the One Piece is literally like the culmination of those three combined together that can be used to not only bring the seas back together, but destroy the world government in Emu's wrath. Maybe Lily had a falling out with Emu at some point, and they created the One Piece with Joy Boy. Maybe, like, Joy Boy ended up being, Lily's new lover, and Emu got jealous, or something like that, and that's why Emu had her off, crushed his heart. It could make sense if it's some weird love story like that. I'm just saying, it could make sense, and ultimately would also explain why Joy Boy, and maybe even Lily or something, would work together, why she would be an important figure, and why the One Piece would be something relating to Joy Boy, because Joy Boy could then use the One Piece to bring the One Piece world back to the way it was before the Void Century or during it. Ultimately, that's probably, I think, what's going to be happening here in the future. I could be wrong. You're welcome to tell me I'm wrong. You're welcome to go in the comments and tell me what you think. There's a lot.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, there is a lot going on in this situation, and I honestly think you could theorize all freaking day on this, and we're probably going to do a live stream later on about this to discuss it with you guys and really see what you guys think. But let us know in the comments what you guys feel about this chapter. That's the end of the chapter.
No break next week.
There's no break next week. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, maybe consider watching another video popping up on screen right about now. There's actually a link down in the description that you guys could go to if you want to help support the channel. That will take you on over to Temu, and you can buy whatever you want there. There's a 30% off coupon code down there as well. And if you did enjoy the video and you don't feel like doing that, just remember, like, share, comment, subscribe, and tap the bell. That's all we got for you guys, and we'll see you guys again in the next video. Peace.
Bye.